I'm Alvin. I work as a developer advocate at Contentful, just like you. And yeah, I like all things front end and animation and all things pretty.
Awesome. Alvin, in the last live stream, we talked and learned a lot about Svelte. And
Hmm.
we also talked what is Svelte and how Sveltekit is kind of a bit different from Svelte. Maybe, we start about that. We talk about how is Sveltekit different from Svelte.
Sure. So Svelte is a pure front end framework, right? When you start, you get nothing on your HTML and your JavaScript does all the work. So if you don't want to do this, if you want to create like some kind of static site, or if you don't need any JavaScript, you're just grabbing some data from an API, you want something more than just a front end framework that works in the browser. You want something that you can run on Node or like just deploy, create builds and everything. So Sveltekit is the answer to that for Svelte. The same way Next.js does this for React, right?
Mhm.
Um, Sveltekit is exactly this for Svelte.
Interesting. Like Next has made it really easy, I would say, to work with React.
Yeah,
And is that the same that Sveltekit does for Svelte? I mean, Svelte in itself is pretty easy to work with,
yeah,
which I learned in
yeah.
the last live stream, but I'm just curious. What's your take on that?
Yeah, so it's just about getting to 1.0. So this was unstable for a while. So we'll see. I feel like it's gonna get adopted by more places. I feel like Svelte is pretty easy. There's lots of stuff you can do out with it out of the box.
Mhm.
So yeah, Svelte just adds a layer of like not modernity, but like features, right? That it comes to on top of it, right? Yeah.
Got it. All right, I am already in the project directory where I want to create a Sveltekit project, and I am
Hmm.
gonna assume there is already a CLI command to bootstrap a project.
Yes. And like last time, we're going to do the whole workflow. Like if you're getting started from scratch, so the place to go is to go on the Sveltekit website. So I believe it's kit.svelte.dev.
All right. So we are now on the website kit.svelte.dev,
Hmm.
and
And there you go. This is your CLI up there. So the first line, you can see there's underneath the build fast, you have a box there that has like a command npm create, blah, blah, blah.
wait, isn't this the same command that we use to create a Svelte project?
I do not believe so, but I may be wrong. uh,
I think so. The only difference I think was we used wheat over there.
Maybe I can remember, but I know this makes a Sveltekit app. That's all I can tell you. Oh yeah, scroll. Oh no, this is Vite template Svelte. Yeah,
Yeah, but this is let's see. Let's go ahead and create the project and see what dependencies are installed.
yeah, because this one will install Sveltekit and it will give you a choice of like if you want like already like a to do list that's already made, or if you want
Mhm.
like more of a bare bones thing.
Ah, interesting.
So I think yeah, this one has three options,
All
as
right.
you know at the time of
And
recording.
last time we tried npx, it ran into an error. So I'm just going to do
Yeah,
npm
yeah, yeah, just copy
ph
yeah that, and
well,
then
and
just
then let's just see.
call it whatever you want. Yeah.
Sveltet live.
Yes. Then do I have a bunch of options? So we probably want the skeleton project. So you want to press down
Mm-hmm.
because the other ones, again, the demo app, I think is like a to-do list. Not
Mm-hmm.
library, just skeleton. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can look through the options, you'll see. But yeah, the Sveltekit demo will be a little bit too much for what we want.
All right, so and we are gonna do JavaScript with JS
Nah,
talk.
nah, just kill it. Life's too short for types on the live stream. We could just do no. Yeah.
So we don't want any type checking.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes,
There you
Lynn.
go. Same, no time for that. I mean, you can if
Oh,
you want to. It's just I don't even
I
know.
did.
Like,
I mean, okay.
it's fine. Yes, yeah.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just
just
don't
gonna.
want us. I don't.
We
I
don't
just don't
want
want it to
playwright,
crash if
right?
we make like a stupid mistake. Playwright, no. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we got the project up and running.
And then for the next step, you want to go on step 4 in your
Yep,
terminal there. So like npm run
npm.
dev dash 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 open. Nice.
And here we are.
Cool. Then open your
Yay!
what now? So if you open up the source, um, you
Uh,
have yeah,
okay, this
you have you
looks
have
a
this weird
bit
thing.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, right? It's very strange. So you have this plus page thing. So everything this is the latest routing changes that got into Sveltekit before it got locked into like release candidate or something um, for V1. So this is
Mm-hmm.
how routes work in Svelte. So your plus page dot Svelte, if you open it, you'll see it's what you see on your in your browser. No, go away, TypeScript.
Okay, so it's basically the code for the page.
Yes, that's right. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
So the routes are folder based. So if you want to create like a slash whatever
Mm-hmm.
slash I don't know food, um, and you want to create a file, what you would do in Next or in Gatsby or whatever, you'd have like pages slash food.js, right?
Right. Right.
With Sveltekit, it's all folder based. So if you want to create a root named food, you'll have like root slash food, and then in there you're gonna have like a plus page.
Okay. So if I do foo
Yep.
and then plus page dot
Yes, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
here, and I'm just gonna
Mm.
copy. Welcome to Fuba 2.0 because this is the space, our community space at Contentful office in Berlin.
Nice. Foobar 2.0 is the way to go, I guess. I don't know.
And now if I do,
Yep.
okay, interesting.
Yeah,
So I,
it's a bit controversial. Like some people don't, a lot of people don't like it. To say that.
I mean, it does add an extra step of creating a folder, but I am curious, does it help in any way with nested routes?
So the rationale is, and again, I'm not particularly fond of it. I don't hate it, but I don't like it
Hmm.
either. The rationale is because it's all folder based. You know, like in your foo, for example, that only plus page will be the root file. For example, if you want to create like a footer, for example, that's specific to that root.
Right.
Otherwise, usually you'd put that footer in a component file somewhere else, but you don't really know like which root it belongs to. And like so the idea is that if you have a footer that's specific to this root, you can
Hmm.
put it there and it won't create like a foo slash footer root. Because if you do that in Gatsby or Next, right? If you do slash pages and then you create a folder and you do the same thing, and you do
Hmm.
slash foo and then slash index,
True.
then if you create like again another file there will create a root for you, so that it's the idea of using that plus and these like very specific files like plus page. There are others that we'll look at a bit later that do these very specific things to make it like super explicit. That's the idea behind it.
Got it. Okay.
Mm,
It makes sense. Yeah, it does make sense. And I see a comment from Master Years.
mm.
Directory-based routing is so much nicer than having JS files with routes file. Started using with Next and never looked back.
Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it does solve a lot of problems, but I would say it depends on the size of project that you're working on. Because if you
yeah.
have your a simple website like a portfolio website, then having that would be a lot of work in my opinion.
It just feels convoluted to have like a ton of like plus page files. Like this is my problem with it, right? I don't mind having a character. Like if it
Mm-hmm.
was up to me, like if if Rich Harris is listening, like I feel like to me, I think it's a good idea to have a character and have a plus and like the idea
Mm-hmm.
that it adds something, right? But I would wish it was like plus whatever. So like if I could just have plus foo.svelte on the root, on the
Right.
root folder,
Uh-huh.
and that's a root file, and everything else is something else, and then for like for the server files, you could have again plus foo.server.svelte, sorry, .server.js.
Mm-hmm.
This would be my, yeah, I would prefer it that way, but I understand that, people want their folders. But again, I mean, what can I do? Nothing. So I'll just teach you how it is.
Awesome. All right. Yeah. So let's go ahead. I I think this wasn't in the plan that you came up with of teaching as well, but I
That's
just
fine.
went on the other way.
Improvise.
So let's
Improvise.
get
This is
back to
live.
it. Let's get back to your
Yeah,
plan.
no, this is live. We're good. So to go back to what we did last time, let's add some styling. Let's do some global style so that our app doesn't look quite as crappy as it does right now. So
What
if we,
it was
yeah,
open
if we go to
props, right?
open, yeah, that was it. Yeah, open props. Bring up the good old open prop, which is really, really good. There you go. You got your import statement. So you can copy that. Then go back to
Over
the,
here now, because there is routing and stuff happening, where would I import this?
this is where we get another nice concept. So there's two things here. The first one is VS Code has like a Sveltekit add-on to help you create like Sveltekit, these particular files, like plus page. So if you right click, no, you are there. If you go back to your, well, that's a really minimalist set of extension there. I'm really jealous. Anyway, so if you right click on roots, yeah,
Okay.
and you go Sveltekit files, yeah, and you'll have like layout. I cannot see it because it's a bit too small for me, but you'll have like
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
layout.
Okay.
Mm,
So
Um,
now there are three options. There is
oh
Sveltekit
yeah, yeah,
create plus layout.js. There
that's the
is
one. Yeah.
dot
So
server.js, and there is
oh yeah, no,
l-
sorry. So you want create plus layout dot svelte. Excuse me. So you want to put that at the root.
all
Again,
right.
I cannot see anything, but it's a good. I just hit enter.
And I just hit enter now.
Yeah, there you go. Sweet. Okay, so you can get rid of the script tag.
And then
And
we
then
do
so
the
you can
style tag, right?
exactly, yeah, style.
And
Yep, and
because
then you
it's
can drop.
global, I have to use the
That's
global
it. Yeah,
keyword.
global. That's it. You remember? Yep.
It's globals or global?
I
Globals, I
think it's
think.
just global.
But in VS Code suggests globals.
I don't think it is. Let's
Let's
try
see.
it. Yeah. Boom. Okay.
Save this.
There you go. Yeah.
And
And go back. And it broke everything. No.
what? Wait, what?
Oh, you
Do
don't
I need to
even need to
restart
make.
the?
No, it did break everything. Okay, so get rid of global. Maybe it's just nothing. Oh no, yeah, because it's a layout thing, isn't it? Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, my bad. And now that should be it. Cool.
Mm,
Oh, I see.
no, no,
Previous
no.
page. Okay, yeah. So, oh, I know what's going on. Okay, so in layout, I wanted
Mm-hmm.
to introduce you to these things a bit more gradually. Um, so in layout, basically what this does, like the concept of layout is that everything else in the page sort of inherits that. So if you just open a main tag underneath,
Over here.
yeah, in your like HTML, just do main, for example, and then in there you want to put like a slot tag, SLOT. Yeah, that's it. Close it. There you go. Save. If you go back to your browser, normally we should have a non-broken thing. There you go. Sweet. Okay, it's back. So the idea of slot and sort of layout, so everything else in the root will go into that slot. So it's
Mm.
basically like children in React, right?
Right,
It could
right,
be
right.
okay. Everything that's under that, put it there, and it's the same thing. So if you go back to if you change your style, so go back to line 2.
Mm-hmm.
If you duplicate line 2 and add the normalize like we did last time, and you go
What was it?
slash normalize with a z dot
Slash.
min
Yep, yep, yep.
min, yeah, dot css. Boom. If you save that and you go back to your browser,
Ooh.
ta-da. Okay, so you can see that everything. So sorry, I was thinking of global, which is more like a Svelte way of doing it, but with layout you don't need to do that because you have this layout that encapsulates everything else.
If I go to the foo page,
Ta-da.
Nice. Like
So
this.
you can see if you look at the DOM in the foo, everything will be wrapped by that main tag that we created.
Let's check that out. Here is the div. Ah, right. Okay. Yeah. So it's
So you can see
in
how
the
like, everything, like the layout basically wraps the entire root.
true.
So
Okay.
that's
I
layout.
now I am thinking. So if let's just say I have a website which has a navigation bar which goes on all the pages, I would
Exactly.
add it somewhere here,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that way it would be rendered on all the pages.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And you can do this per root, right? So you could think about like you can have a different nav for like if you have a
Mm-hmm.
developer section, right? Like for example, in our case, we have like our website and we have our developer site, or some people have like their docs sites
Right.
or
Right.
something. So you could have like a slightly different nav or like adding a search or something that depending on the route you're in. Um,
Interesting. Okay. Another question.
yes.
So let's just say we have a developer site which also has a lot of pages, right? But they
Yeah.
share common components. So
Hmm.
would you create a layout file in that directory?
You can if you want to. That's the thing. Like you can do it the way you want to because you can have like a layout for the developer side that's like in that directory. But for
Hmm.
components, you could put them in the lib folder like we did last time, or you can put them next to the root file. It's up to you. It depends how you want to organize things.
That's interesting. That's
Mm.
that's really interesting.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
I
Sveltekit
like
is
this
a little bit
concept.
different. Mm.
But I kind of like this concept because now your code is, I feel, is more structured.
It's enforced at least. There's like this enforced structure. Yeah.
And I see a comment. Oh, are the layout files in Sveltekit not the very base of the page where we have to add things like the HTML, head, and body tags?
No, that's your app.html. If you look at it, yeah, it's there. You
Ah,
can
right.
like change the head. I'm sure there's got to be the same way you have like React Helmet. There's got to be a
Mm-hmm.
way to dynamically change the head based on which page you're in. I think it might be built in. I don't want to say something wrong right now. So but yeah, I'm sure there's a way.
This.
And
Mm.
again, you can have a layout for a different like folder. So we could do something else for. It might get convoluted, so I don't really want to. I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
get
yeah.
into the details of that. But yeah, so if you want to play around with it later, what you can do is in your foo like folder, you can also have another layout that does something else, and then you can nest then something else inside that, so it goes as deep as you want it to go. But then you got to
Interesting.
be careful because you got to remember you're still
Yeah.
nesting from like a level above. So yeah, this is why it can get a bit unwieldy, but it does exist.
Interesting. This is pretty interesting. Okay. Uh, well, we talked a lot about layout. I want to go ahead, move forward with the application and just not think about layout for a while now.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So let's go back to page.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's it. So we're thinking of having a joke app. So let's again do some refreshers. If you want to create a style, yeah, that's it. Perfect. Jokes app. If you want to create a style at the bottom, perfect. And create a style for like let's say a block quote element if we want to display our jokes, right? I don't know. Yeah, yeah. And then just put it and give it a max width maybe like 500 pixels or whatever. Yeah. Cool. And then you could add a block quote above, as you know, and like you can also see from VS Code that it's warning you. It's like, hello, you got a style that's not unused. Fun fact: it's actually really annoying because the when you see you had you had like a yellow line, squiggly line under block quotes. These get dropped at compilation. So for example, if you have like some dynamic data from say
Mm-hmm.
Contentful and you have a block quote but it's not used, this will get dropped at compilation. So you have to like do a weird like sub selector to get to get around it. So just know that like if you get rid of the block quote there, but you still have a style, that style will
Mm-hmm.
get dropped at compilation. So you have to find a way around it if you have dynamic content.
Oh,
Annoying, yeah.
that's challenging.
Yeah. You just have to know it. Then you're like, oh, why is it looking weird? And you're like, okay, I know why. Yeah. Okay, cool. So you get your block quote there. That's nice. Cool. Now, what if we wanted to make it dynamic and like populate this from an API?
We add a script tag, we make a fetch call in that script tag, and then we render it out over here, I think.
Pretty much, except we can do this on the client,
Mm-hmm.
but that's a very Svelte way of doing it, right? The difference with Sveltekit is you can choose what's going to happen on the server the same way as, with Next, you have like, your get static props and get server side props, right?
Right.
So if you right click on the roots folder again, you should have a, sorry, I have to do it at the same time.
I don't think I can zoom this
And
in.
then that's fine. Yeah. Create plus page.server.js. There you go.
Where it's the page.server.js, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Hit enter. There you go. Okay. So get your, okay, cool. So this, you've done some remix recently. So this will remind you a little bit. So so this is what the server will send to the client. You got your return with an object.
Mm-hmm.
So this will run on the server and send that data back to the client.
Okay.
So if you want to do a fetch call, we can do it there.
So within the load function, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Fetch, and then the URL, which I don't have.
I can drop it in the chat if you want.
Yep, that would be helpful.
Sure. So the
Then we want to do maybe JSON and then something. Maybe.
there you go. Let me drop that in the chat. So we had a fantastic that joke API. There you go. I just gave it to you. It's in the chat. So there you go. Yeah, and then so you want to return the prop. So it's already an async function, so you don't need to use then.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see it's already made that for you. This API, however, just a bit of an annoying thing, asks you to put a header to it. So it has
is it
to,
gonna
yeah,
be?
yeah.
No.
So if you open, yeah, there you go. So if you open there an object, an empty object, yeah, give it a headers, yeah, that's the one, and then perfect, another, yeah, and then it's accept. There you go, and then it is application/JSON. There you go. That's your fetching. That's the one.
Result.
Wait. Yep.
My bad. Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine.
Wait. Fetch. All right.
Cool.
Then we might want to do result.json as well, right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, yeah.
Result.json.
It's a function. Yeah, nice.
Yep. And then we simply return this.
Yep. Yep. And let's see what happens.
But we need to call this function somewhere.
Exactly. So you got to go on the client. You go back to your plus page.
All right. I'm just gonna close the pages that
Yeah.
I don't need. Yeah. Okay.
Cool. So open a script tag, as you were saying earlier. So generally, the script tag is above. I think this will compile, but just so you know, like for convention, like with Sveltekit, generally people put this script tag above the HTML. I think that will compile, but just so.
Let's just follow the best practices.
The what?
Let's just follow the best practices.
Yeah, exactly. So now to get access to that data, it's in a very Sveltekit way, very terse. It's just export let data.
What? So, but I'm still
Data.
okay. I'm gonna
and
hold on
and
to
that data will be what you returned from the page.server.js.
But wait, We are right now just exporting a variable.
Yes, we're making, so we're doing two things, right? We're grabbing the data from the server and we're exporting it so that it's accessible in the HTML. So this first thing we can console log it to see what's in it and make sure we didn't screw up our server request.
I still a bit okay. Let's see. Let's see. Right. Sure.
Sweet. Okay, we got our joke back.
What? Wow. This. I still thought that this is gonna throw us an error because in
Yeah.
no way we told Sveltekit that hey, this is the exact data that I want.
Yes, it is.
Wow. Okay. That's
So again, yeah,
interesting.
in a very terse, very svelte way. So yeah, so data is a keyword, so it has to be called data. If you call it joke or whatever, it won't work.
Hmm.
So it expects, like, if you're doing this again in the plus page, if you have an export of a variable called data, that data will receive whatever you're returning from the plus page dot server.
Got it. Okay. Okay. Now I am gonna try something. I
Yes,
think it's gonna
go for it.
work, but still.
There you go. That's it. You can see it in your console as well. Yep.
Yep. Yep. Yep. Ah. Okay.
So if you go back to your browser, um, you should see that in your console. This is what you wanted to try, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
Mm. So why did you think it wasn't going to work?
No, I knew it was gonna work, but I just wanted to try it out because
Yeah.
I have been doing this a lot with a remix because I want to get different data from different places. But
Mm.
again, remix is the same way where you use a load function, you get the
Mm-hmm.
data, you pass it on to the components, and that's why I was like, okay, does it have that similar pattern that remix has?
Yeah. Mm. And you can see the fetch as well. Like, you didn't have to import anything. This
Yeah.
is already there, which is really nice.
Awesome. This is cool. So we got the data coming in,
Yep.
but we now need to render this. And this
Exactly.
is where
Yeah.
we have the
Mm.
joke.
Yes.
I'm trying to remember how we used to do that.
That's it. That's the
Data
one. So yeah,
dot
data.
joke. Oops. Which
Yeah.
is
So because it's res then joke. So you could either,
right. Okay,
yeah.
I can just remove this.
Yeah.
And now, what did the fish say when it swam into a wall? Damn. Damn.
Well,
Awesome. All right. Okay. So this was interesting, and I
yes.
really liked that I can create a page.server.gs file, make the call, and just simply to export that data in that page and get the data.
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now I am again gonna go into the similar space as I went with layout. So if I like just say want to make or do this for some particular routes, I should be able to go ahead, create a page.server.gs file in that route folder.
Exactly. Yep. Yep.
Okay. And that data won't be accessible outside of that route folder.
I'm not sure how it would compile, but oh yeah, so yeah, for example, like the data that we have there on line two, yeah, that will
Yeah.
not get like the data from like foo, like the foo route. Um, yeah,
Got it.
yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. We can make dynamic routes. So there's a couple things of I think for maybe for a refresher, what we can do is like create a component for the quote. So like have a joke component, and we pass like the data into it. So then at
Hmm.
least people can remember. Or which, yeah, I think we can try. We can try to do some dynamic routing.
Okay.
What do you want?
Let's do dynamic
Okay,
routes.
might fail miserably, but let's try. So in your roots folder, this is where
Hmm.
it's also a bit weird. You want to create another folder and call it like slug in brackets.
Square brackets, right?
Yeah, yeah, that's the one. Yep. And then in there again, make a plus page or whatever. Yeah.
Plus page dot svelte.
and then a plus page.server. Oh yeah, in this one it already imported the data. Huh. Well,
Yeah, I mean
anyway.
it's available on the index root. So I am assuming we
Oh
can
yeah,
use it over here as well.
yeah. I think same thing. You can create a server. Sorry, plus page.server.
Why do we want to do that? Because we are already getting the data here.
No, again, as you were saying, this is it's specific to that route. So
Okay.
in there, you'll get nothing. So if you want to go on, actually, there's two things you can do. You could, because right now this is going to be like slash, and then for example, like the idea of the
Hmm.
joke, or in the same way you have like a slash user. But we could also have it under like again slash joke slash and then dynamic slug, slug, and then. But I think let's leave it. Let's leave it for now.
Okay. Okay.
Sweet. So
Okay.
now we.
I before we jump into that, there
Yeah.
is a question. Is the server file bound to the page file on this route, or will that work in some way for child routes as well?
No, I'm pretty sure again it's bound to the page as you said. So like the foo route that we have, or even the dynamic one, would not get the data.
Wait, okay. I'm a bit confused now. So now that we have the jokes coming in over here in this file,
Yeah.
will I be able to access it in the foo pages as well?
Well, we can try, but I'm pretty sure it's a no.
I am assuming we would be able to.
Let's try again. I could be wrong.
Right. Okay. And now if we go to foo,
Yep.
so it's an empty array.
Yeah, it's an empty object. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, empty object. Okay. So if even if it's in at the root level, you can only access it within the page file of that root.
Yeah. Yep.
Interesting. I hope, Master, yes, that answers your question because now I have a better understanding.
Yeah. So the idea is, for example, like to get like the classic example of like a blog, for example, like here.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, that said example like 5 times. But yeah, so like with a blog, um, you'll have your index, which has like all your articles, right? If this was coming from CMS, like Contentful, you can have like all your articles in an index. That will be your plus page.server at the root, right?
Right.
And then you click and you have like slash blog slash welcome
Mm-hmm.
Harshal, and that will be the individual article, which you could pass down directly as a so which again you could fetch directly from the root.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay. Okay. Got it. Makes more sense. All right.
Sweet.
So now for the dynamic route, we have the page.svelte file, we have the page.server.js file, and
Yeah.
we want to write some code over here to
Yes.
get the jokes, right?
Yes. So for example, there's a couple of things we can do. So the first one is on in that file, what you want to do is like change the endpoint in the first plus page.server.
Uh,
So what we'll
th-
do again, following the similar example of a blog that I said, um, you could have a list of jokes, and then when you click on
mhm.
one, you get access
Right.
to the page that is just that one, right?
Right.
So you need to change the endpoint to get a list, because right now when we call the API, we only had
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
So if we want a list, we have to change it to slash search. Yeah, that's the one. And then yeah, go for it. Slash search, I believe. Yeah. And then in your front end, in your plus page, you will not that
Plus
one.
this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
again, this is where it gets a bit annoying. Yeah. You'll have
Okay. Yeah. Wait.
yeah,
I want to check the data structure
yeah. Check in
to
the
make
in the front end.
sure. Okay.
So
So
you get
it's
a list
under
of
the
jokes here.
results.
Yeah.
So then we might want to do. No, wait. Svelte has its own
Yep.
different syntax for loops
Yes. So
for something something. I need to check the documentation.
you read the docs. Yeah. So this is all the Sveltekit specific thing. So for
For Svelte, we should check
yeah,
the
for
Svelte.
Svelte, you need to go back to the actual Svelte docs. Yeah, that's the one docs, and then look for each. That's the one.
Each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that's it. Then you have the example underneath, like iterating over list, blah blah blah. Um,
Mm, yeah. This is a
there
better
you go.
example to copy.
Yep.
For items in beta dot.
It's the opposite. So it's for data that results as whatever.
Yes. Results. I want to throw this in. I'm just gonna move it.
And this will be item now, not data. And there you go.
And this is going to be item.joke.
Yep.
This should hopefully work.
Yay.
All right, so we got the list of jokes, which is good.
Yep.
Now what we want to do is create dynamic routes for them.
Yes. So if you want to add a link after the blog quote or in it, doesn't really matter. Or like either you could wrap it or just add another link somewhere.
Yeah, let's do it over here for now. And we need to path an href.
Yes.
This is going to be item.id.
Yep. That's it. You probably want to prefix it with a slash. So you probably want a template string.
Okay.
Yep. But then it's a lot like React. You also have to wrap the template string. There you go. Let's see what happens now.
Right.
Oh,
Yay.
beautiful.
Nothing broke. It's working.
Yeah.
So wait, I'm just gonna to test this out. I'm just gonna add a tag is this.
Yeah, it's the one.
If I do hello, click on this. Hello. Wonderful.
Nice, right?
Interesting. Okay. Now what we want to do is we want to get the joke for that particular ID.
Yes, exactly. So you can. I mean, I'm sure you know what to do next. So
So if we go to this page.server, I'm gonna copy the whole thing.
yes, do some beautiful, beautiful copy pasting.
What? Alright. Now, is there a parameter where I can just pass the ID?
Yes, it's /j/the ID. Sorry, I was talking in the API just to be triple clear. Yeah,
Yeah.
and the ID you grab. So the name that you'll have for the ID is the same name that you gave in the root. So right now we called it slug.
Mm-hmm.
So in the load function, you can get in arguments, you can get an object that has a params property. That is
And then I can
itself
extract
slug from
slug
there.
from
Yeah,
params.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and this can be dollar oops, slug.
Yes. Yep. You got it.
Okay.
And,
Let's
and
console
if you
log
console log the data,
this.
yep.
And let's just remove the console log from here. All right, let's test this out. And we got, okay, we got the joke. That's feet.
Yeah, and now you could just display it's the same thing in the component. So if you want to create
Yep.
another block
So
quote and like get it, yeah,
quote data dot joke and
there you go.
ooh, I
Now you have a
am
dynamic
tired of.
route.
I'm just reading the joke. I'm sorry. I'm tired of following my dreams. I'm just going to ask them where they are going and meet up them later.
Right. So there you go, dynamic routes. So you can see like when you click, every time it's the idea of the joke, and you can use that to fetch whatever.
This is
Could
interesting.
be, yeah.
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say this could be like a user. You know, often you get like user slash whatever, and you have the idea of the user. That's where you load their profile.
But to do that, I will have to create a new folder. This is gonna be, for example, jokes, and the slug thing has to be within the jokes folder,
Yeah,
right?
that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that should just work though. Yeah.
So now if I go over here, I get a
But
folder.
that won't work. You have to change it in the, yeah, changing the plus page. Yeah, the slash jokes. Yeah,
Right.
there you go.
That's nice. That's interesting. Yeah, I feel like this has easier routing and nesting options.
We can talk about components right now because the block quote that you're doing, it would be much better if it was a component, right? If you could just wrap the,
True.
right now you have a block code that has an A in it, but the block quote, you want it to look the same, like across both routes, right? So we can do that. We can create a, again, a quote component or a joke component and like reuse it across both routes.
Let's do that. And before
Yep.
doing that, we got a comment that says Sveltekit's routing seems similar to Nuxt or Wheat Press style.
Yeah, I have never used either of them, but yeah, I feel like it's folder based as you were mentioning earlier in your first comment. So yeah, they're all like Astro is kind of similar. I feel like Astro is a little bit smarter in that you can do like you'll be able to do like slash. Where we had to do a folder named joke and a folder named square bracket. With Astro, you'll have to make a folder named joke, but then the file would be called like square bracket, which again gets away with like it removes this plus page convention, which I prefer. But that's kind of,
I
yeah,
think
they're
that's
also
also the
converging.
way you do in Next.js.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. Okay, for the components, do I need to create a separate
Up to you.
folder? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. That's better.
Nice.
And in this, it's gonna be a block quote which is gonna get some joke.
Yep,
Now I still need to have a script tag,
that's it. Yeah, to so that you have a variable. You know, so
and
it's
which is gonna be export let joke.
that's right. Yeah, good memory. Yep, that's it. And then if you want to add your style that you had on the on the on the roots or
Yep.
on, yeah,
Just gonna
sure. Yeah,
remove it from
bring that
here.
back up. Yeah,
Okay, I
and
am trying to remember how we used these components.
so it was yeah. So you had to import it. So first in your script tag to import, yeah, quote. So that will be with an uppercase. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Nice one, VS Code. And you give it a property just like you would with React.
Joke, and this is gonna be data joke.
Yes.
This is on the dynamic page, and we
Sweet. So now we can reuse that component for the home page.
yes.
so that we have everything that looks consistent.
Okay, so over here I need to do import quote
I love auto import so much. It's like so good. Mm.
and remove this quote joke equals this, and then we close this. Sweet.
Sweet. And then again, if we wanted to change the styles, we could do it, and it's all consistent. Like for every quote, like across our app, will look the same. And, you know, if you've used components framework, you know how it goes.
This is sweet. I like this. Wonderful. Wow. We got 5 more minutes. I think we should wrap this up.
Yeah, let's do a recap and wrap. Yeah,
Yeah. All right. I'm going to take the first shot with a recap, and then you can jump in wherever you think I am missing something.
pretty sure you
All
don't.
right. So let's see what we did in this live stream. We started with creating a Svelte app using the npm create Svelte command. Once we had that project up and running, we tried and we talked a little bit about the naming convention for pages, and then what did we did then? I think we
We we
started with the layout.
we played around with routing as well with like the foo file, the foo root. Sorry.
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
So
so we
we
were like,
played
okay,
a
this is how roots work. Let's create a foo root, see what happens. Mm.
exactly. So we played a bit with the root files. We created that. We then worked with layout so that we can have consistent layout across all our pages.
Yeah, we
Then
discovered
we
this slot. Discovered this slot thing that allows again. This is how layouts work, right? So we can wrap the rest of our roots like with something that's defined in a layout file. So for example, our main, everything else, every other root file, so every other plus page that we can see right there will be wrapped by that main tag and have the styles that we defined above. So we learned like how layout files work and how to like apply styles to different like child roots, I guess.
yes. And then we learned about the page.server.js,
Yes,
where
how
we
to
saw
fetch
how,
data.
yes, how to fetch data. And I really liked how we receive the data on the client side. All you have to do is export that data, and then you can
Yep.
simply use it. You don't have to do anything else, which was really interesting. Earlier, we were getting just one joke and we were rendering it out. But then we thought about why not get a list of jokes? So we changed the endpoint that gave us a list of jokes, and we use again the svelte way of rendering arrays,
Yeah.
which is basically using the each
Keyword.
thingy.
Yeah.
I don't know what do
Mm.
the expression.
Yeah.
That's
Keyword. I guess
better.
I don't know. Yeah. Templating word. Whatever.
And now we get a list of jokes. But the problem was we just got a list of jokes. We wanted to dive a bit into dynamic routing, and that's where we went ahead and created a folder with the which had uh, square brackets. So basically, you can see over here it's square brackets slug square bracket closed, and
Mm.
then in there we had a
A dynamic
page.swelt,
route.
which
Yeah.
becomes the kind of the template for that dynamic route,
Mm-hmm.
and we had a page.server.js where we were basically getting the joke for that particular ID. And then we created a component. We called it quote.swell since we were using block quote on the index page and on the dynamic route as well. And then we imported that in both the pages and passed the data so that we get consistent components or get consistent looking joke components.
Yeah.
And
Visual
because
component.
I wanted to take it a step further, I moved the whole slug folder into the jokes folder to view the changes in the routing. And interestingly, the routings changed. So now instead of localhost what is this, 5173
ID. Yeah, numbers.
slash
Yeah,
ID, it goes to
yeah,
5173 slash jokes, then the ID
yeah.
to get that joke page. Interesting. Oh my god, I covered everything in time. Fantastic.
Right. Yeah. Right. Like.
Awesome. Before we jump off, Alvin, if folks want to learn more about Sveltekit, I know the documentation is really good, but is there any
Yeah.
other shows that you would recommend?
I think that's it. So there's the same as last time. So there's Sveltekit, and I feel like we covered a lot of it there. So for Sveltekit, you can look at the docs for more specific things like environment variables or something like this that you want to know the Sveltekit way of doing it. But because it's built on Svelte, you want to learn about just Svelte itself, and that's just the general Svelte docs, which has like lots of examples. There's an interactive tutorial which you can follow as well. It's what we used last time to do like a shared state with the store.
Yeah.
So yeah, learn more about Svelte, and then the Sveltekit part that are above it should be in the Sveltekit docs.
Awesome. And if you folks want to find Alvin on the internet,
Yes,
you can reach out to him on alvin.coach and
yes,
bug
that is my
him with
website.
all kind of questions that you want.
Yes, go for it.
And if you folks want to find me on the internet, you can always hit me up on Twitter with my handle somewhere over here, which Herschel1712. And again, if you are not a part of our Slack channel, go ahead, join in. Both Elvin and I are in the community Slack, and we would be happy to chat with you anything around tech and beyond that as well, I guess. Awesome. Elvin, any other last minute words?
No, thank you. It was it was interesting. Sveltekit and Svelte is really wonderful tech, so I hope everyone gets a chance to have a look at it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Alvin, for joining in and teaching with Sveltekit. And thank you all for joining in, tuning in. And thank you, Master Yes, for all those questions and inputs throughout the live stream. See you all soon in the next live stream. Have a nice one. Take care.
See ya.